Hello everyone, PauloP13 here. Welcome to today's video. This video is being live recorded here on Twitch, and my Twitch chat just went out on my screen, so I no longer can live see my Twitch chat. But other than that issue, this is being filmed live on Twitch. And what are we talking about? Well, we are going to be talking a bit about Dark Dimension 4 and some of my thoughts on the actual characters you should bring. I'm not going to get into super specifics, because admittedly this was a bit spur of the moment, but I'm going to give you some general thoughts and things you should actually be considering when you're planning for Dark Dimension 4. If you are planning for one of the earlier Dark Dimensions, it's actually good to listen to this right now, because you're actually going to be able to use this to help speed up the process. Don't build for Dark Dimension 2 if you're wanting to get to Dark Dimension 4. Build for Dark Dimension 4 when you're doing Dark Dimension. When you're prepping for Dark Dimension 2, look who is usable in the highest Dark Dimension available and build that way. Because what you're going to need is tier 15 characters. However, Dark Dimension 4 has a couple of little nuances in there which are unique to Dark Dimension 4. You need a lot more characters than you've ever needed before. And they have to be tier 15, which is obviously the longest to get to. So what are you going to actually need? Well, you need 5 characters to enter. These can be 5 of anything. Then you're going to need 4 global characters. These global characters cannot be legendaries. Then you're going to need 4 cosmic characters. They cannot be legendary. 4 city characters. They cannot be legendary. And then I believe 4 legendaries. Obviously, they can be legendary. And that is what you're going to need in the general concepts. So you're going to need, at the end of the day, at least 4, 8, 12... like 4 global, 4 city, 4 cosmic. Those are the 3 places, and then 4 legendary characters. So at the bare minimum, you are going to need 16 characters to get through Dark Dimension 4. Meanwhile, in Dark Dimension 3, you could technically get through it with exactly 5 characters if you build it really well and you have a lot of patience. You can't do that right now. So, how do you do this? Do you just look and say, man, it's going to take forever? Let's just get the people that take the least amount of resources and throw them into Dark Dimension 4. You can. You're going to be there a while. It's not going to be the best for your roster. I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to need to find a balance. Balance between what? You're going to need to find a balance between what is very helpful for the mode of Dark Dimension 4 and what is really helpful for your roster. And then from there you can say, okay, this is going to take a very long time, and kind of balance the time out in that regard. Because you do have a limited amount of resources, it's a very good idea to actually plan out a character of each type. So a skill character, a bio character, a tech character, a mystic character, and a mutant character. All of the main origins in the game, all at once, to plan ahead in that regard. And when you're building up your general team, you're going to want to try and make it more global heavy and cosmic heavy so that you can get ready to go from global to cosmic to city. And as you're doing your little section, you can actually prep for the next section. But like I said, do you want to focus on exactly what's going to get you through Dark Dimension 4, or do you want to mix it up? Well, how does this look for me? Because I'm kind of in a mixing it up. Some of the characters I am personally bringing are there because they are the right characters for Dark Dimension 4. They're good characters in the mode. Some of the other characters, they're not the best bets to get you through Dark Dimension 4, but they were really helpful for my roster. So let's actually take a look here. Let's go to all, because we do not need to see my Avengers. And we are going to go here and look at gear tier. We're going to sort my roster by gear tier. Right now, I have everybody up to Silver Surfer. I have these 7 characters at tier 15, apparently. Could have promised I had. Okay, I've got Thanos. I've got Mr. Sinister, Anti-Venom, Emma Frost, Baron Zemo, Ghost, Silver Surfer. Yeah, that's all I have right now. Minerva is very close, and then I have a couple others that I could technically bring, but I'm still making final decisions. Well, why did I bring these characters? Thanos, he's actually not bad in Dark Dimension 4. However, the reason I brought Thanos is because of Black Order, and he is just an absolute tank. So I wanted him at tier 15. That's why Thanos is here. Sure, he's not bad in Dark Dimension 4, but if you take a look at the cosmics, there are better cosmic characters than Thanos for this mode. Mr. Sinister, very, very good character, very good in Dark Dimension 4. Anti-Venom, good character on a good team, underrated in Dark Dimension 4. Emma Frost, very good character, very, very good for Dark Dimension 4. This is a winning character. So far, Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost are like ideal choices you're going to want in this mode no matter what, because they're super good for your roster overall, and they're super good in this game mode. Anti-Venom is probably on that as well, but he is technically not the most important symbiote to bring. He was just the first one I wanted to bring. Now we get to Baron Zemo. Zemo is not great in Dark Dimension 4. He gives you a little bit of damage and occasionally some control, but he's not going to be super tanky, super surviving. But you know how good a tier 15 Baron Zemo is? For war efforts? Huge. That's why my Zemo is here. Not for the mode itself. Ghost is actually an incredible character for Dark Dimension 4, and honestly is a very underrated character in this game. I would keep an eye, and I would recommend bringing Ghost if you can. So my global team ended up being Mr. Sinister, Emma, Zemo, and Ghost. Zemo did not really do much, but Mr. Sinister, Emma, and Ghost did really well. And I will say that I had a combination from before I was in the global section, which had Thanos, Thanos, Emma, Anti-Venom, Ghost, Zemo, because those are my first 5. And the survivability of Thanos, Anti-Venom, Emma Frost, Ghost is huge. So if I were to have like Mr. Sinister before Zemo, that thing could have been incredible. Silver Surfer, highly recommend Silver Surfer, because tier 15 Silver Surfer is insanely powerful in this game in so many areas that you're really not going to regret it. It is a little hefty on the resources, but he's also good in the mode. Some people are saying use Silver Surfer or Hela. If you can do both, wonderful. If you can't, that's fine. But Silver Surfer is a great character you're going to want to bring. So we can break this down a little bit. So generally speaking, you kind of have an idea of some good characters. For the global section, characters that I think are essential. You're going to need Mr. Sinister and you're going to need Emma Frost. They are basically essential, even if they're not technically essential. And can you do it without them? Yes, but it's going to be significantly harder. Let me actually go and look at global just so you can see the character options. Okay. If we go here, you could bring an Ultron. He is apparently a little better in this than he was in Dark Dimension 3, and he is a good character. You've got Shuri, you can do a full Pimtech team if you really wanted. Like, you have other options than just going for Mr. Sinister and Emma. But in my opinion, you're going to want to build your global team around these 2 mutants. So you should make sure you have enough mutant gear for these 2 characters. Then you can get a little more creative. I would say Ghost is almost an essential 3rd, even if she's not. So you might want to get some tech gear saved up for the global section. Then you can get a little more creative. Personally, Zemo is good for your roster. Not great in the mode, but you can keep that in consideration. After all, that would be more up to you. From global, while you're in global, that is the time you are preparing for cosmic. So I can go to cosmic. Again, Thanos is a good option because he's actually pretty survivable and he's going to be super helpful for your roster. Silver Surfer, hugely helpful, good for your roster, good in the mode. Then you're going to have a couple of decisions to make. You can go with someone that's really good in the mode like Minerva. I mean, Minerva is very good in the mode, and I would recommend her. Or you can go with someone like Hela, who is also very good in the mode. Neither of these characters have as much use in the game as they used to. Hela a bit more than Minerva, but they're still very good characters, and you will always be able to find some way to use them. So far for Cosmic, you can run a Thanos, Silver Surfer, Hela, Minerva team. But there's going to be some other options. Just remember, Ma and Black Bolt will not count because they are legendaries. You can do Proxima Midnight because she has skill. You could technically do Corvus Glaive for the same reason. And they're also Black Order, which is a good team. But maybe that's not the most essential. You can go with a couple Asgardians if you really want. Not ideal. You could also go with some X Factor. Again, a bit of a more creative approach. But again, it's not going to be bad. If you really want, you can also go around your Astonishing X-Men. What I would recommend for the Cosmic section, is get a couple of characters that are going to really help for the mode, that are also good. So something like Silver Surfer even. Try and get a Silver Surfer, or like a Hela Minerva combo. If you could get all three of these, that'd be wonderful. And then kind of plan what you're really wanting to focus on. Do you want some of your Astonishing X-Men in here to just help with your Astonishing X-Men team? Go for it. Don't do everything simply for the mode when you're thinking about Cosmic. Finally, we have City. And City, my opinion on City has changed really recently. There are still some very simple options. And honestly, the most simple option I could tell you is Anti-Venom, Carnage, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Scream. Done. Those are the four best. They are four of the best possible options that you can have. They're very good for the mode. They're very good in the game. And they work really well together. And I know a lot of people are saying that Astonishing X-Men are the better raid team, which, honestly, here's the issue. If you have them both fully built, the raid nodes end up dead, your team ends alive. So how much can this team be better if they both end up with the exact same result? It's really hard to say at that point. But this thing that you're going to need to know. I'm actually working on talking with a few content creators about making a video. But even though Doom Raid has more trait requirements, something that's become noticeable is the symbiotes are more essential than they were before. Because when you're in a mutant section, you can get by the mutant section without Astonishing X-Men. When you are in a bio section, you cannot get by without the symbiotes. They are basically essential for Doom Raid. So that is something to consider, so that could be an option. But I think at the bare minimum, you need Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Anti-Venom before you think about anything else. Those two are essential. Then you can go with Carnage or Scream next. Depending on who you listen to, you'll get different reasons for both. I like Carnage more. Scream is better for the game mode. That's the difference. Then you're going to want to mix it up a little. Some people are bringing Punisher. I don't think Punisher is the right choice. People are doing it just for his passive, and I don't think he brings enough value overall to either the mode or to your roster as a whole, unless they do a big change to how Skilletary is working. So personally, I wouldn't do Punisher. You can if you want. If you have some excess Mystic gear, you can do someone like Ghost Rider. He's pretty good for the mode and a pretty good character you can mix and match. She-Hulk is now farmable. Perhaps you want to do something with She-Hulk because she is a pretty usable character. You can technically go with some Sinister Six. You can go with some Shadowlands characters. But the one character that just popped up that I think could make a good fourth and lets you take a little break from the bio is Multiple Man. This guy is crazy good. I don't really need to say more. So in my opinion, I might try to go with something like Anti-Venom, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Carnage, Scream, Multiple Man. Or if you really want to be stingy with your bio resources to speed everything up, you can do Anti-Venom, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Multiple Man. Like, you have a couple of new options, and I think that's pretty exciting. Because then you get to Legendaries, and all of the excitement goes away instantly. Let's take a look. We're going to go right here to Legendary. And what do we get here? Well, what characters are you going to bring? You're going to bring Ebony Maw, you're going to bring Phoenix, you're going to bring Doc Ock, and then you're probably going to bring Shuri or Jubilee. And I guess, Nick, you can technically do Invisible Woman, but you are not going to want to do Black Bolt, you're not going to want to do Star-Lord, not going to want to do Iron Man. You're definitely not going to want... You could do Magneto, you shouldn't do Magneto. Like, you technically get a little flexibility here because you can do Shuri, Invisible Woman, Jubilee, or Fury. But at the end of the day, you really... Okay. You're going to do Maw and Phoenix for sure. You're going to do Doc Ock for sure. And you get a little flexibility here. But people are probably just going to do Jubilee because she's the best character. Just do 4 legendaries. You're going to be fine, but it's going to be carried by Maw, Phoenix, Doc Ock. But basically, what I've been trying to say is this. When you're planning for Dark Dimension 4, don't just say, well, this character is going to get me through the fastest, or this character costs the least amount of resources. The best way to build your roster in this situation is planning ahead and finding a balance. I do hope this was helpful. And I hope you enjoyed it. And check out my Twitch, because I will be live, and sometimes I do some live recordings, and maybe some spontaneous things, and some other games that are pretty fun from time to time. I do. And as always, I'm here to help.